Joey B, man, with stats in hand, spilling numbers like grains of sand. Fancy talking about diamond dreams, chasing players, whispering their schemes. Oh, Welsh, breaking it down real slow, voices howling in the radio's glow. Talking monsters on the baseball field, wizards swinging bats and magic shields. Fantasy baseball in the night, podcasters giving us that sight. Question marks and stars collide, dreams of glory never hide.
Welcome in, everybody, to Fantasy Pros MLB. This is Leading Off Live. It is me, Joey P. Joe P. Zapia. With me, of course, is the Welsh. And it's all of you, the Peanuts and the Cracker Jacks, here on our Twitch, twitch.tv/fantasypros. That's the place to be Monday through Friday for Leading Off. And, of course, you can also check out all of our NFL content here as well. That is ramping up. We're on every single day for MLB, for NFL. So subscribe right now. Follow us there on twitch.tv/fantasypros. Use your Amazon Prime account to go ahead and make sure you subscribe for $5. Get rid of those nasty commercials. Nobody wants those advertisements unless they're for Kaiser Treks or something like that. You're also watching on our YouTube channel, Fantasy Pros MLB on demand. Drop your comments below. You might win yourself the Juan Gonzalez jersey. Only a couple days left. Hurry! What are you doing, for God's sakes? Get the Juan Gonzalez jersey, for the love of God. Drop your comments. This is from pristineauction.com. Subscribe to the channel. Like this video. And that's it. You're automatically entered to win. Fingers crossed you are the big winner. And don't forget to ring that bell till it goes ding for notifications so you never miss a piece of content here on the channel. Welsh, an explosive weekend of baseball, signings, trades, a million home runs by Nick Kurtz. This weekend in baseball had everything. It had 6 for 6 days. It had Aaron Judge elbow issues, Seth Lugo contract extensions, everything. But how about this? There was a piece here from Wonky Penguin, I believe. 2 people called Nick Kurtz 4 home runs. 25 people had him the day before. Wow. That's crushing. I wish I had called Nick Kurtz for the weekend because that would have been amazing. I might actually have had a shot to make the board, but pretty awesome.
Hey, probably I saw this out there, and I've been kind of sitting on this for the last day or two, where someone was like, that was like the best individual game someone's ever had. And I kind of sat on that like, was it? It might have been 6 for 6.
What was it? Sean Green, 4 homers. Remember, against Milwaukee?
And he had more RBI than Kurtz, but Kurtz was 6 for 6.
He had 19 total bases in one game.
Yeah, I think that was tied with Sean Green, if I remember correctly.
Unbelievable.
Was it the greatest individual performance of a hitter of all time?
I don't know. But
let's get a pull up if we can, Seth. Was Nick Kurtz the greatest individual game performance we've seen from a player? Because what's been better? I mean, hitter.
I mean, from a hitter perspective,
hitter. Yeah, so maybe say hitter.
It is by a rookie for sure.
Sure.
It is this year by a country mile. But I mean, the thing about this Kurtz, and we were going to start with Judge, but we just started talking about Kurtz, so let's just talk about it. I mean, it is a stunning. Slash right now, 305, 374, 686, 23 homers, 59 RBI. I had him, it's funny, I had him in Fantasy Pros League, right? And of course, I got eliminated last week, so none of the stats counted this week for me with Kurtz, of course, right now. And I have him in my home league as well, where we play the extended week. Because of this game and the fact that it was like 10 days of baseball, he had 87 points this week. 87 points!
That's insane. All right, so I wonder if I've got this correctly. I just pulled this up here for individual game stuff. Do you want to hear a few of these?
Sure.
God, I don't think any of these match up. So it goes, best individual RBI was Jim Bottomley and Mark Whitten, who both had 12. Bottomley was 6 for 6, 2 homers. That doesn't take it over. We had 4 homers from Delgado and Sean Green, Sean Green had the 19 total bases, which was just tied. Stolen bases, Carl Crawford had a 6 stolen base game. We had, and now you're getting into triples. Andre Dawson was walked intentionally 5 times. Who is this? Joe Randa had 6 runs in a game. But see, like, that's the crazy part. I just typed in, like, individual great performance. Those are statistically the greats there. But Nick Kurtz was either at the top or better than like all of that stuff. He didn't get the 12 RBI, but he was close. He had the 4. He was 6 for 6, tied the total bases. I legitimately think that might have been the best single performance from a player, and it was a freaking rookie, dude.
It's
crazy.
Unbelievable. I'm so excited. I'm so happy for Nick Kurtz. I'm so excited for everybody who, was with us for this entire ride of Nick Kurtz. It's funny because Caglione is basically on the same path. Like, he was just showing some signs of life, and then he got hurt, and we're like, oh, God, now he's on the IL. If he comes back from the IL the way Nick Kurtz did, it's going to be a wonderful summer.
You know what's funny?
Fantastic, yeah.
I had a DM pop up on Instagram. Somebody hit me up, and I only saw the message, and it was, hey, thanks for this. And I go to it, and I see Nick Kurtz and Jack Caglione, and I go, great. This is going to be somebody being like, good job, you dumbass. But it was somebody asking me Kurtz or Cags in a draft preseason. And I was like, hey, listen, I got Nick Kurtz higher. You could take Cags, but I'm going to stick with Kurtz. And they were just like dropping a 4 months later. Hey, by the way, thanks for making this decision for me with Nick Kurtz.
That is the first and only time that'll ever happen in our careers.
Yeah,
that someone will 4 months like, hey, by the way,
I know, like they thought of me to come back and be like, hey, thank you, instead of go kick sand.
Why'd you make me draft Junior Caminero 20 home runs later?
Yeah, I know exactly. But best single performance, I think it was. Very interested to see what you guys put out there, and based on this stuff, Sean Green is probably there.
Sean Green was the one that immediately popped because I remember where I was when it happened too, and just being in awe of it, watching it. By the way, you did miss an opportunity. Jim Bottomley, 1924. I mean, Jim Bottomley, 1924. What a day for that fella.
Oaks.
Oh, 12 RBIs in one day. Boy, oh boy, that fella sure is a good hitter.
Jim Bottomley, folks, just hit a 74-mile-per-hour fastball. My gosh, one of the fastest pitches we've ever seen in 1921. He is one of the greatest players of all time.
We'd like to interview Jim after the game, but unfortunately he has to go back to his job at Ace Hardware selling rakes right after the program, so he'll be there tomorrow again at the ballpark if you'd like to say hello.
Already back in the coal mine, folks. He'll be back.
Bottomley, get back in the coal mine. Go get your pickaxe.
Hopefully he doesn't have scurvy.
All right.
Yeah, they're just smoking on the field. He's on second base.
Hopefully Aaron Judge doesn't have scurvy. He's on the 10-day IL with the right flexor strain in his elbow. Now, I saw this and immediately went, ooh, yay. Well, not yay, but like, oh, ooh, yay, Spencer Jones. That was more of the reaction. Was the yay was for Spencer Jones. But then Spencer Jones is sidelined with back spasms. So Aaron Boone said he's going to play like Giancarlo Stanton in right field. Like, that is an awful idea. Good luck with that, Aaron Boone. For a guy that is notoriously being taken apart by the fan base, that might be the death knell if that happens. Don't do that.
Yeah.
But they did acquire Ryan McMahon over the weekend, which was foretold on this program,
many moons ago.
May. I want to say May. I want to say like late April or May. I was like, it was going to be a Yankee, Ryan McMahon.
Which got them out of the Suarez hunt. Like, yeah, that was the thing this whole time with Eugenio Suarez has been, the fan base being sold that it's going to be a lot less. And teams don't want to pay the price, regardless of him being probably the number one player that is actually available on the market. The Yankees weren't willing to meet the cost, which was most likely Schlittler, or at one time was Spencer Jones. And for all intents and purposes, what we've heard is Jones is kind of taken off the market. Like the only place that he could go is if like Joe Ryan was there. And we're going to talk about Spencer Jones in just a little bit with some prospecting. But yeah, I think what also could be foretold potentially on what does happen with Spencer Jones in the near future could be what the Yankees do over the next 4 or 5 days. If they go and acquire literally anybody, like any outfielder for any cost, that's going to be the big tell sign that because Judge, when he comes back, they're saying he's going to go straight to DH. So when he comes back, he's going to DH and he might be out of the field for a little bit. So they're going to most likely need some help, and it will either be internally, it'll be internally or externally, but it'll be like the one piece internally if health is good, or they're going to go make some type of a trade that doesn't, that doesn't acquire or doesn't require them to sell off like a big major piece.
No, that's why I kept saying Ryan McMahon, because I didn't think the Yankees were going to do that necessarily. That hasn't been their MO lately.
Cheap as hell, though. That's why you do that. That one costs you practically nothing. So I think they'd like to do something similar with an outfielder and have it be little to nothing if they do go down that road. And if they don't, I think it tells you exactly where Spencer Jones is headed which we'll talk about in a bit.
Shout out to Axe Double, who resubbed with Prime, and Sean, who is a first-time chatter. I see you, Sean. Polls closed. 73% say yes. Nick Kurtz's performance was the best all time, according to the chat.
Isn't that crazy? You guys all just experienced probably the best single game a player has ever had that isn't like fictionalized by a 612-foot homer in 1912 or something like that. Like, you get actual data and actual stuff, and it wasn't, some guy with a little book.
A good one too. Fernando Tatis Sr.'s the 2 grand slams in 1 inning. That's the greatest inning ever.
Iconic.
Sure.
It's iconic. It's absolutely.
And I remember
iconic.
where I was on that one too.
I don't know. When was that?
A lot of great. That was in the I want to say like 90, mid to late 90s there, because I was in college, and I remember
I was probably just a babe. He
was in 5th grade, folks. That's where he was.
I might have
been. More news and notes here. We also, besides Nick Kurtz, Jeff Passan reported that Seth Lugo reached an agreement with the Royals on a multi-year extension. So good for Seth Lugo. That's terrific. But this is another big piece off that market. Now, good in the sense, like, it's nice that the Royals acknowledge Lugo has been really good. It tells you that, Lugo, since he's come back from the disabled list too, has been really good, or the injured list, I should say. God, remember when we used to say disabled list?
I know.
Do you remember that? Those are the days.
The DL?
The DL was great.
Why did they change it?
I don't know. Because it upset disabled people, perhaps?
Maybe.
Yeah,
so maybe.
I mean, injured list is more appropriate. Disabled does feel a little dramatic. Just saying. Now, in retrospect, thinking about it now.
But I mean, like, technically, like, they probably get the little sign if they were parking their car. If they have, like, a torn, like, you can get that. You know what I'm saying? It's not wrong.
Okay, that's why I ask my mom to go with me places sometimes. Hey, Ma, can I use that parking thing you got? It's a good time. It's a good time, right? Go right up in the front. That's what you do. So as a fantasy manager, if you have Lugo, it's great because, you know that, hey, this is not a fluke. The Royals believe that he's been really good last year, good year before the Padres. We're looking at him as a piece. The bad news is it's not going to get better in terms of run support for him this year. That's the only negative here.
But a trade that I don't think we had on the sheet, or if I just didn't see it in glance, my bad. But the Diamondbacks made another trade this week, and they traded Randal Grichuk to the Royals. And I think the Grichuk trade,
the needle enough for me.
Yeah, well, but the Grichuk trade probably was a good precursor to realizing, like, oh yeah, they're not selling anything, because they went and purchased him for Andrew Hoffman. Another Diamondbacks are just collecting these just like 25-year-old relievers for whatever reason. I mean, everybody's hurt, so that's why. But Randal Grichuk, really great platoon type of player. I assume they're going to probably play some similar role, but like, they are trying to build that offense. And you do wonder, are they going to go and get anything else? Are they going to get any other pieces? But because they acquired him, to your point, Lugo back with like the Mets or something would have probably felt good. But we'll see if they can get some offensive run support. Maybe Lugo isn't in such a bad spot right now anyways.
April 23rd, 1999.
Day after my birthday.
When I started playing fantasy baseball, that was when Fernando Tatis Sr. did that. I know it was against the Dodgers. Seth says it was against Chan-Ho Park in L.A.
I had just turned 16, maybe? Is that right? I think so.
I don't know. Well, 1999, so I was 20 years old.
We were all sitting there worried about how planes were going to just fall out of the sky in like, in what, I guess that would be 8 months. Yeah, Y2K. Don't you remember Y2K?
Oh, yeah.
The world was going to end.
I love the 90s. The 90s were an amazing time to be. The 90s were the most amazing time to grow up because you had some technology, but not enough where it took over your life, but you had just enough where it made life a little bit easier.
No, 100%. Like, I remember when I moved from California to Arizona, I just had I had like a Walkman listening to MC Hammer, as like a 10-year-old or whatever. And like my transition from just like tapes into CDs and then to not having a beeper into a phone. Like, we definitely had like the weird transitional like technology period. Yeah, we kind of have seen it all.
Tell our grandkids, back in my day, you'd have to wear a beeper and they would beep you, and then you had to go find a phone to make a phone call. It's crazy.
Yeah, my kids don't understand the concept still.
A lot of smoking in the show today.
I know. What's going on?
I don't know. Jim Bottomley started.
I don't approve.
Cal Raleigh, 41st home run, by the way. This is why we talked about the Cal Raleigh MVP odds. We talked about it several times in the last month, which is, hey, plus 700, plus 800. All it takes is one injury to Aaron Judge, and next thing you know, this thing is even. Yeah. Guess what? That's exactly what happened. Cal Raleigh is now minus 125. Aaron Judge plus 100. He was at one point minus 20,000. Aaron Judge for this award.
I will say this.
Perspective.
I will definitely say this. We actually have I think this is the last one coming up on Friday. So be on the lookout for it on Betting Pros. Arico, myself, and Seth Wilcock, we're going to talk about our futures. The last episode, we had a long conversation about this exact thing. And I did not pick Cal Raleigh, by the way. I picked look out for Tariq Skubal because I thought, Tariq Skubal and how he's performing as a Cy Young winner could almost play MVP wise. But the scenario is so crazy because I said the only way to bet anything else is a bet on Aaron Judge getting hurt. And Arico had Cal Raleigh and he put up Cal Raleigh. And it is playing out. Like, this is the only way anything else was going to happen. The only difference in my scenario was I thought Raleigh might also kind of downtick some of the production in the second half after the home run derby. Mariners start to not win.
Sure,
hard to give the
he wears down, of course, all the norms.
Yeah, like if he were to, but he hasn't. So like my Tariq Skubal, MVP has gone from 9,000 to 4,000, and Raleigh is now up into the minus. But all it took, like we said on here and on that show, was a Judge injury to open up the market completely. But if Raleigh doesn't slow down, this isn't even going to be close to a race here because of what he's done.
2 months left, but I'll tell you what. I mean, baseball is a crazy game. If I had Cal Raleigh shares for MVP, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, I would be cashing out of them if offered a cash out now, because even if they're offering you 65, 70%, it's made a good amount of money. This is where greed enters into it. This is why people are bad at betting. Because if you have a ticket like that, that's gone from being, oh, this is a long shot, to, oh my God, he's the favorite. Chances are, like if FanDuel does it, they'll offer you a little bit of that cash.
But if it's like
cash out, you take it.
If it's like 12-1, just for argument's sake, and they're only giving you like 3-1 odds, you really want to take that? Like, I
always say I'll take 65, 75% of profit, because that's when you invest in stocks. I mean, betting is, especially futures market betting, and this is why I look at it very differently, which is why, you always say this is your thing. Like, you always make money on this, and like, this is how I do it. It's discipline. It's acknowledging situations and seeing in the framework of those situations where you can make money, but then having the wherewithal to not be greedy about it, where you could say, you know what, something could happen to Cal Raleigh. He's a catcher. Those guys get hit all the time.
I guess I'm just saying hold like a tiny bit longer. Like you've got at least 10 days on Judge before he comes back.
Today's the day. You might not see Cal Raleigh minus again. In 2 weeks, Judge can come back, and that will be a distant memory, this minus number on Cal Raleigh. There's so many negative potentials on that where I would just absolutely flip it right away. I go right to it, cash out on Cal Raleigh. Again, if they're after me like 30% of the profit, now you can go screw. But if anything over 50,
that's what I'm saying.
That's a win.
Yeah, I'm saying it's more like 30 per, like they weren't offering you a cash out, and now they're like, well, we'll give you 2.5 to 1 because it's so early.
Like if you bet $100 on it, and now and you would have won 700 on a 7-1, and then they're offering you 400 or something like that, like you take it. You take it. It's $400.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that scenario.
Almost no chance 2 days ago, right?
By the way, I officially this just reminded me, just kissed my Cam Smith ticket. Just gone. Nick Kurtz in one game ended all the other tickets, so I can kiss my 25-1 Cam Smith far gone. My big future I was holding on to.
Hey, Fabby, don't worry. Joe Hedberg and Casey Bubble will be back in just a few weeks. So
Fabby just doesn't want us?
I just realized that's the last time this year I'm going to see the intro video.
I was going to there wasn't room for me to do it. I was going to say it right at the top, but I don't know if people realize, not only is that the last for you, I think it's the last, like, we don't air it when it's me and Joe Arico. Like, I think that's the last time we have fantasy baseball in the night until what is likely
one angry guy on YouTube very happy.
Yeah, that one guy
is so stupid. Why?
Thank God Bubba's here. These guys. But Joe usually comes back. Usually Joe and I come back for like the final episode of the season. So maybe we'll do it for the final episode of the season. What a face. But yeah, that was your final Monday. And that might have been everybody's final fantasy baseball in the night for the 2025 season.
I don't care for their banter or their fun. I don't care for it. I got to do that whole show in that face. That's a very comfortable face. Eury Pérez, let's talk about him and another couple starts from the weekend. 5 innings, no decision for him. He continues to work his way back. I know it was only 5 innings, but he had 6 strikeouts. Again, things are really starting to look going forward for him. He's going against the Yankees this week. I would start him against the Yankees. That's why I'm bringing this up. 46 strikeouts to 15 walks in 44 innings. Welsh, I would start him against the Yankees this week, especially without Aaron Judge.
Nothing's taking me off of him. 3.07 ERA. He has a 2.67 expected right now. Walks have been a little bit higher than you want, but he's inducing just weaker contact. Looks like his old self. He's got a sub-1 whip. Like, I'm not coming off of Eury Pérez. If you're chasing wins it's a little bit scarier. But like, also just throwing this out here, that Yankees offense is not scary right now. It is judgeless. It is Stanton in the outfield. Volpe is still out there. Like, I'm totally fine. There's no scary judges.
Time to bet against the Yankees too when you see opportunities coming up in the next week or two. Brandon Woodruff, 2 hits, 6 innings, no decision for him. 4 hits, 3 walks, and 6 strikeouts. His ERA is sitting at 2.01, 29 strikeouts, 3 walks, 4 starts, and 22 innings. Trevor Rogers just can't be beat, baby. 7 shutout innings, 5 strikeouts. I mean, I know it's the Rockies, but whatever. I don't care. He's been great. If I was some contending team, I'd be like, look, Baltimore, I'm going to give you an offer you can't refuse for Trevor Rogers and just try to ride the wave. Like, that's what I'm doing right now. I don't know if he's going to be made available, but I would be going after him hard, especially now that Lugo's off the market. That's another guy off the market. Trevor Rogers, and he's left-handed. He could help a lot of teams. He could help the Boston Red Sox right now. Not that they're going to deal him in that division, but you know what I'm saying.
He's kind of one of those. He's like a pure fantasy pickup. Like, you picked up the guy in April, and then your team doesn't win, and you get to just waiver wire trade asset. Is not quite what he is, but in fantasy, it's what it feels like. I agree. Except we need to see what the starting pitching market looks like, because we have absolutely no idea what it is, because all we're seeing is the pure rentals that aren't starting pitchers. We need to see a Gallen, we need to see a Kelly, or we need to see a big Joe Ryan trade to set the market, because I would actually say the Orioles, if they're not going to get a haul for a controllable pitcher like him, I'm holding on, because he has been so good. He's a breath of fresh air for what this team is going to need next year, which I think they're going to want to compete. But if teams are given stupid prices for guys like Zach Gallen who are on contract years, then yes, they should listen and optimize their value, because the trade market either has a real chance to be boring, or it could blow up because teams are going to be hyper aggressive, and it's yet to be seen.
Here's a fun one from that geek Troy. I got Kurtz at plus 2,800. Nice.
Dude.
Nice.
Well, okay. Do you hold that through?
Oh yeah. No,
okay.
That you.
Well, you're talking about hedging.
I just look, man. That's why I didn't bet. I didn't bet on American League Rookie of the Year for some time. And then at the break, I was looking and I was like, if the Red Sox get hot, and Roman Anthony was hitting before the break, I was like, that's interesting. I put a little shekel on there, and I did cover Kurtz anyway, but it was already minus 150. So, it'll basically offset each other probably at the end of the day. But
by the way, I'm incredible at betting like number 2 in the awards. Have you seen what Nick Kurtz odds are right now? You want to take a guess?
Oh, this weekend, minus 1,500.
Minus 1,800 on DK right now.
Okay, I was close.
1,800. Yeah, you were close. Jacob Wilson plus 700. Cam Smith plus 1,900. That is Aaron Judge level ownership of that award right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think that award's over now. That kind of performance, because it's so historic and because it becomes such a media thing, it's just boom, just catches on. Paul Skeens, 6 shutout innings, struck out 9, walking 1 in a win over the Diamondbacks.
A win?
A congratulatory W for Paul Skeens. Wanted to acknowledge that. The Braves,
4 more till double digits. I just want to point that out. 4 more till double digits for him.
Can he get there? Maybe. The Braves acquired Erick Fedde. Good idea by them, because they're losing pitchers at an alarming rate. So we'll see how that goes. Bob Melvin said that Carson Whisenhunt's going to start today against the Pirates. So would you be streaming Whisenhunt today, Welsh?
I would be comfortable with it. Pirates are, even though I think they swept the Diamondbacks, they're still a pretty stinky team. Whisenhunt's got an absolutely disgusting changeup, and he's going to get a lot of whiffs off of that today. It's if he leaves that fastball up and O'Neal Cruz hits at 512 feet. But I think he is a spot starter, just simply because this is a Pirates matchup. And I want to see a little bit more out of Whisenhunt at the major league level, but I'm telling you right now, he's got one of the sickest changeups out there. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is like a 4 to 5 inning. He does give up 3 or 4 runs, but has like 6 or 7 strikeouts, if that changeup is, if it's working.
More rumor mill stuff. The Astros are looking around Willie Castro, kicking the tires on utility man there. That would be smart, considering all the guys they've talk about injuries. I mean, have you ever seen anything like this? The Houston Astros just falling apart at the seams right now. And the Cubs are one of the many teams interested in Raisel Iglesias. Now, Iglesias still hasn't pitched very well, but I can understand why somebody might want to take a flyer and see if they can get him right. Which brings us to Monday's favorite activity. It's time for prospecting with the Welsh. That's right, everybody. It's time to look at them prospects that Welsh is looking down on the farm for. We'll put a little piece of wheat in our mouth and go take a look at some of these youngins on their way. Major League Baseball. Welsh, let's take a look here. Start with Bryce Eldridge. Bryce Eldridge of the San Francisco Giants, certainly a guy that we've all been talking about for a while now, coming off a game 1-for-4 with a walk and a homer, 4 RBIs on Sunday. He's hitting just 237, 318, 517 in July, but he did miss some time with a hamstring strain. So let's talk about Eldridge, what he could do potentially here for this Giants lineup. Will we see him soon now for the Giants as they're trying to scuffle their way and maintain a spot in the playoffs?
Yeah, so especially this version of prospecting, it is trying to identify some that are kind of trade related, but the most likely that we know right now, because I just want to point out, this is going to open wide up with the trade market. Teams might trade, that is going to open up spots for players. They might trade players to another team that could open this up. So these are your likely candidates. And I've been kind of talking about Bryce Eldridge for a couple weeks now. We did it on the, just before the All-Star break, because he was injured. He got back to AAA. Yes, the batting average has had slight struggles with the injury, but he's still flying. He's hit multiple home runs over the last couple. He's at around a 260 average overall. The AAA numbers are a little bit lower, but in 25 games, he's already hit 7 homers. And I think that's the big key here, is that bat can help this team, which I still think they desperately need if they're going to make this big push of a run, because you can go and put him as a DH. He can cover quite a few different spots. He can cover some first base as they're kind of transitioning with some of this Rafael Devers stuff. He can get into a corner outfield. There's a potential, because of the struggles coming off the injury, they hold a little bit tighter, but I really do think we're on the precipice of them just not wanting to keep him down there too long. Now, he is a young guy. He's 20 years old. So that's something to consider with how they push it. But I think putting him in like a DH spot, hitting around 5 or 6 is a definite possibility. I'm not sure how much they benefit from keeping him in the minor leagues the rest of the way. And they need an infusion of power to this offense. So we got to keep and pay attention to Bryce Eldridge. And the last thing I would say is, when we're looking at some of the batting average numbers, if they're looking at the harder data, almost a 60% hard hit rate. He has got a 96 average exit velocity in AAA. Get him out of there. The bat and the ball is going to fly. Love me some Bryce Eldridge.
We also love us some Spencer Jones, who was on an epic home run tear. 13 homers in 19 games since the promotion in AAA. Now, here's the thing. He's dealing with a back injury. We touched on it earlier in the show. But now the spot has opened up, and the Yankees desperately need some help with offense. So if the back checks out in the next couple of days, do you think the Yankees check Spencer Jones into the Bronx?
I do think this is a possibility. And that's why when we were talking earlier, it's, do they go and make an acquisition? Do they not? I think the changes that have been made with Spencer Jones internally are enough that we can actually justify this whole, like, he went from, we couldn't throw him in a trade to get somebody, to he is now becoming untouchable, because he has made some big strides in his swing. If you look at old video of his swing to what it is now, he's got a similar release point to Aaron Judge. He's got this open stance first step that goes in. He's using the torpedo bat as talked about, and you're seeing absolutely ridiculous results at AAA. All of this to say that I think they're comfortable. Now, my problem would be is, like, how many are they going to test the limits of how many 30% strikeout percentage guys you can have? Like, you just got some swing and miss issues, but if you're missing some offense, he's going to hit pop flies that are going to fly out of there, because like we talked about with Bryce Eldridge, 61% hard hit rate he's got at AAA, 95 average exit velocity. He can run. This is another big dude that I personally think, unless this back issue is not a thing, I think they're going to pass on going to acquire a big outfielder, and Spencer Jones comes up within the week. And if not, maybe they make a big trade and Spencer Jones is the centerpiece of it, and then he would be up with that team. So I think it's a decent time to invest in Spencer Jones, but there's a little bit of mystery going on with that back injury that we kind of need to pay attention to, and maybe might be something to worry about.
All right, next on our list is another prospect, Robby Snelling. So let's talk about Robby Snelling here, the lefty starting pitcher. We've gotten some, again, this is that time of year or two where trades are happening, so we're looking for movement potentially with guys. We're looking for openings and rotations. We're looking for guys who could get moved. So what's appealing to you about Robby Snelling here on prospecting this week?
Yeah, well, I mean, the potential trade market of what can open up, that, we could be seeing him very, very soon. He was a former Padres prospect. I really like him. This year, he made an interesting change where he kind of dumped off of using a sinker. He's going four seam. He's going slider. added a curveball and a changeup. He throws all of these over 10 percentile of the time. We've seen huge results from him just overall this year. He's got an almost 15% swinging strike rate in AAA right now. It's a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. He's found his command again. You can just see statistically the numbers are really starting to fall into place as someone who kind of fell off for a little bit. The AAA numbers have been a little bit wonky, but I think this is also a guy that has pushed this system that if they were to trade off Alcantara and Edward Cabrera, I do think we could see Robby Snelling, and I think he's going to be a big strikeout guy, and he's going to be another in the long line of players that have just found success like Cabrera, like Meyer. There's so many injuries there that I think this could be a spot starter. So pay attention. He won't get traded, but I think a trade could open up a spot for him.
We got one more guy to chat about too, Logan Henderson, a guy that came up earlier this year for the Brewers and made some really impactful starts, but he's not Jacob Mizorowski. Like, that's the only negative that I can find about Logan Henderson. He was terrific before he got the call. He was arguably even better when the Brewers let him go into the rotation. Now, I know Quintana got beat around a little bit, so maybe, just maybe, we could see Logan Henderson again for the Brewers, but it does feel like Welsh, if they are going to add a big bat, if I were the Diamondbacks and you wanted Suarez for me, this is the guy that I would ask for because I know I'm not getting Mizorowski. So this is the chip they have to move. The question is, will the Brewers do it, or do they keep that insurance policy for the back end of this rotation they currently have?
You nailed it. This is the thing. Like Logan Henderson, he's been solid. AAA, he's got around a 3.5 ERA, a 10K per 9. Walks have been kept down. Like we kind of know who he is as a pitcher. If we need to, go back through it, fastball has been solid. It's been a tiny little itty bitty down while he's been in AAA, but guy's got ridiculous strikeout stuff, really good command. His changeup, he went ballistic with in his major league debut. This is a great pitcher, but the funniest and most interesting part about this is he might get moved, and he might be one of the most prominent pitching prospects, and the Diamondbacks have been rumored he would go directly into the rotation for the Diamondbacks if he were traded. Mm-hmm. And it seems like because of the success with some of the major league guys, some of the guys they have in their system, and obviously Mizorowski, I think he is the chip that's going to make the big push. I think they're going to do it, and I think Logan Henderson could get moved. So I love the idea of picking him up because we don't see a path with the Brewers, but I think there's a path somewhere else. Hitter-friendly environment if he were to go to Arizona, but still a strong defense, some run support. So I really like the idea of sneaky getting in on Logan Henderson right now because all the stuff has been good, and I think he might be pitching for another team in about 7 days, 5 days, maybe 4. Maybe 1.
Maybe 2. Maybe now. What? Maybe before this video is over.
Maybe.
Well, before this video is over, one thing you should definitely do is subscribe to the YouTube channel, FantasyPros MLB. And, of course, you can always check out Welsh's work over on FantasyPros.com for more prospecting with the Welsh. All right, let's take a look, Welsh, at what we have next, which is ups and downs for the weekend. George Kirby, some big strikeout numbers. 9 Ks, 6 runs in a win Saturday over the Angels. Garrett Crochet, fan 10 guys, 2 runs, 6 innings, up to 12 wins against the Dodgers. And Max Scherzer lost, but still turning back the clock. 11 strikeouts in 7 innings. So there you go. Max Scherzer making the list in a positive way.
Just got to punch someone in the face and then you're good. Now I think refuted that, by the way.
Well, hey, whatever. Whatever works.
Hey, if it gets him going, like honestly, if you could have one guy, you just need to punch someone in the face and we get them going.
I mean, honestly, at this point, like I bet Juan Soto could have gotten out of this contract. I feel much better before every at bat if I could just punch somebody in the face as hard as I can. Speaking of punching people in the face, did you watch Happy Gilmore too? Did you see it?
I did.
I did too. We'll do the review at the end of the show. Okay. We both saw it. All right.
Yeah, we can do that.
Downs, Logan Gilbert. Well, that was a good transition. Speaking of punching people in the face. Logan Gilbert, 4 runs, 3 hits in 5 innings. Not great. Bryce Elder, terrible. Oh my God, against the Rangers. 8 runs, 6 hits. Bryce Elder should not be a starting pitcher in the major leagues anymore. Ace Hardware might have an opening. Jim Bottomley is getting old. He might retire soon. And Joe Ryan on Saturday was tagged for 5 runs, 4 earned. So not a great one for him. Injuries, a ton of them. Let's start in the positive realm. Blake Snell is going to make his next start in the majors. That's great. We told you that was going to happen. So we will see Blake Snell before I leave this place here at Fantasy Bros MLB for the year. No runs, 4 2/3, 7 strikeouts. Now, he did walk 4 guys, but whatever. Blake Snell's working through stuff.
That's what he does.
I ain't worried about it. I'm excited, right? Like, you're excited. I'm excited. We should all be excited for Blake Snell, right?
Yeah, just hopefully he's not the Happy Gilmore 2 of starters this year. We're like, oh, man, this is going to be great.
Oh, geez. Oh, man. Isaac Paredes is getting a second opinion on the hamstring.
I legitimately think like his season might be done, but also what the hell do the Astros ever tell? Like anything they say doesn't make sense. They're like, this is serious. He could be doing that and be in the lineup tomorrow. And we'd be like, huh, it's the Astros. But I legitimately think this is a pretty damning one.
It's a great point by Lard here. What do you do if you have Snell and Snelling? That's a lot.
They both actually pitched for the Padres at the same time, too. There was Snell and Snelling together.
My God.
Snelling, a very big 49ers fan, by the way. So also a big fan. I'm a big fan of his as well.
One of our big sell highs before the All-Star break was Chris Bubich because we were concerned about the innings and we were concerned about the durability, not the performance. He'd been great. Well, he goes on the IL with a left rotator cuff strain. So that's a huge bummer. Jack Caglione, we mentioned earlier, hamstring strain. He goes on the IL. Grant Holmes, one of the many Atlanta Braves pitchers to get hurt this year. My God, talk about an absolute just dumpster fire for rotation this year for the Atlanta Braves. He's done for the year. He goes right to the 60-day IL. More on him as we get an update. I can only assume it's an elbow with Tommy John thing because that's what everything is. Casey Mize got his start pushed back from Monday to Tuesday because his knee is sore. So keep an eye on that. And speaking of sore knees, Mike Trout still shut down from playing the field. He said the knee bothers him when he runs bases and takes swings. Well, that's baseball last time I checked.
Yeah.
You know,
he'd be fine if you were playing MLB The Show. But
like, when does it hurt, Mike? Well, it hurts when I do baseball related activities. That's when it hurts. And this is sad because this is at one point one of the great players in the game, the best player in the game for a stretch. And he's just kind of a shell. Like every now and then you're going to get glimpses of what he was, but you know, it's few and far between. And it's sad because I feel like we never got to see Mike Trout at his best on a big stage. And that's the crappiest part about this whole thing.
If he finishes the season just DHing and, you know, kind of does what he does, are you going to be in or out on him next year?
Well, I was out on him this year, so I'm going to be out.
No, I know you were out on him, but like he'll have in theory played the most games if he finishes out the rest of the season that he's played in God knows how long. You'll still just be out because, you know, he can't walk or swing without wincing.
I'm out.
Okay.
I'm out. I'm in perpetuity. I'm out. Thrasher says Trout might be able to play cornhole. Well, when does it hurt, Mike? It hurts when I pick up the bag and when I throw the bag. That's when it hurts. Like, I mean, that's what you're doing. Adley Rutschman's going to be activated today. Yay. Kyle Bradish. Remember him, Welsh?
Yep.
He's going to make another minor league rehab start on Tuesday. Dylan Cruz, also on Tuesday, starting his rehab from an oblique. Bailey Ober, 2 hits, 5 innings on Friday in his rehab. And Aaron Nola making a minor league rehab start on Thursday. So keep in mind, Aaron Nola, if he's floating around your waiver wire, maybe it's time to add him. Which brings us to the best bets
of the day
with Joey P and the Welsh. Let's start with the Los Angeles Dodgers on the run line, -110, -1.5. Why? Because, well, you got Yamamoto on the mound today. So I'm going to go ahead and take my chances there with him. Christopher Sanchez against the White Sox. I'm going to go over 6.5 strikeouts at plus money, +114. Sanchez has been absolutely spectacular this year. And against the White Sox and that youth and inexperience, I think he will teach them a lesson or two. And then, speaking of the Phillies, I like Harper today. I like Schwarber today. I landed on Harper at +135 because I was getting a better number on that RBI potential there. And, you know, going back to, you know, that Dodger game real quick too, Yamamoto against Burns. Burns probably limited 5 innings. Yamamoto, if he could just settle in there, have himself a nice day. You know, Cincinnati's got a lot of strikeouts in that lineup. I like all 3 of these bets today. I'm feeling good about them. Let's see what Welsh likes on a Monday.
I am playing some unders, folks. I am going to play some strikeout unders. I'm going to start maybe these are both 2 scary ones, but it's plus money. And maybe I wrote the Dylan Cease one wrong, but it is a plus money play, I believe. But I'm going to start with Jacob Mizorowski. 5.5 strikeouts. I'm going to play the under 5.5 at +110. The matchup and also the amount that he's able to go, the pitches in game is part of the problem. The Cubs are a tough team to strike out. They're in that upper echelon of not striking out. Mizorowski has been an absolute beast, but we know if this team can drive up the pitch count, he's not going deep. I think he went 68 pitches in his last. I would expect this is around 70. So an already low strikeout team. I actually really like this number, but you know, be warned. It's like twice in all of his starts has he gone under this number. This feels like a prime spot for it. The same thing is going on with it. Yeah, so that's my fault. I think I wrote, and maybe it was -110 on Dylan Cease, but Dylan Cease under 6.5 strikeouts. You know what? It probably is all right. overthinking it. Dylan Cease under 6.5 strikeouts. This is another one of those. Mets. Dylan Cease has struggled this year. You're going against a team that does not strike out a whole bunch. He's been getting blown up, and I'm not sure how deep he's going to go into this game. Now, this could be one of those, this could be your last start type of things, and you just end up being perfect. And maybe I'm going to rev start both of these players, but under 6.5 strikeouts is because I think the Mets are going to get to him very early. Pitch count is going to drive up, and I think he's going to get knocked out of this game. I don't think he's going to go 6. So I'm going to go under 6.5 strikeouts. And then finally, I'm kind of joining you on the Dodgers front, but I'm going to take the first 5 run line. So we are going to go first 5 on the run line, baby. And Chase Burns, my guy, he's just been a little struggly here. I really like them to be up by a run through the first 5 because I even if Chase Burns has a great game, I would predict he's going to give up 2 or 3. Yamamoto has been almost unhittable. So give me first 5 run line up by 1 run through the first 5 for the Los Angeles Dodgers. And those are my best bets of the day.
Don't forget to go to FanDuel. Go to FantasyPros.com, of course, /leading off. That's the place to go. Bet $5, win $250 in bonus bets, and download the Betting Pros app as well. Bet smarter, not harder, and use that promo code leading off to get 7 days of the premium tools for free. All right, after the onslaught of Nick Kurtz home runs, let's see how it affected the big board over the weekend. Whoa. George at 44, Whips at 44, Grouch at 41, Wonky at 36, 32 is the new high water mark for the Sammy Sosa jersey from pristineauction.com. I today am going with Kyle Schwarber for my home run, plus 190. That's where I'm going. Welsh, where are you going for your home run call?
Of note, I just wanted to point out, I don't think that really, the Kurtz stuff doesn't look like it affected the top end of the home run board.
Maybe more of that middle chunk of people.
Yeah, well, remember, Wonky did say only 2 people had the 4 homers, so that's why. But I didn't see a lot of the... It would have been interesting if one of the top guys had it. All right, so you're going with Kyle Schwarber.
I guess is the one that had the big win from it. So
yeah, I'm going to go with Julio. Give me Julio in Sacramento. Julio is just under 3-1 odds right now. If you're looking around on books for a homer, he's been picking up in the second half. So give me Julio Rodriguez over Cal Raleigh in this one for a little bit of home run here. I feel like you got a couple this weekend from Bryce Harper too.
I did.
So yeah,
I got at least one. I think
I didn't get anything.
It's funny because I had Kurtz like a couple days before and he got me one. Remember? I should have just said, just Nick Kurtz.
Yeah, just Nick Kurtz the whole. You'd have been doing great. You might have been on the board.
I know. I was close. I went 31. 32 is the number, I think. So I still would have been behind, I think. But whatever. Should I start Burns against the Dodgers? No, Garza. No, I would not do that.
Nah, probably not.
And then Dylan wants to know here, in a season-long points redraft, I got offered Springer and Manaea for Stowers, Christian Walker, and Clay Holmes. Thoughts? I would do this if you need pitching. Stowers has been brilliant, but if you need pitching, Manaea's, I think, a guy that I'm very confident
in. So you get Springer, Manaea. Yeah. You have to trade Stowers.
Holmes, I'm not enamored of rest of season.
I don't know. Stowers is the best player in this trade right now. So
he is, but I said if you need pitching. If you don't, then no.
I probably wouldn't do that one.
All right, real quick. Happy Gilmore 2. Good. Funnier than I thought it was going to be. As soon as I came onto Netflix and I saw it was 118 minutes, I was like, no. No Happy Gilmore movie need to be 118 minutes. I don't understand. There's probably nobody watching Happy Gilmore 2, Welsh, who hadn't seen Happy Gilmore probably 50 times. I don't need all of the flashback reminders of the inside jokes. In fact, I think you're kind of killing the joke. Let me discover the Easter egg jokes on my own and remember them and enjoy that. You don't have to refresh my memory. I'm not that old. So that was, and they probably would have trimmed 10 minutes off the movie. Bad Bunny, Marcelo Hernandez, very funny. John Daly steals the movie. John Daly, hilarious. Best part of the movie for me. I liked it. What'd you think?
So I thought it was going to be the biggest pile of garbage that we've ever seen. So I was pleasantly surprised that it wasn't actually the worst movie of all time, but it was bad. I'll never watch it again. It has zero rewatchability.
Like, it wasn't like Coming to America bad, the sequel bad. Like that was just bad.
I didn't even watch that. Like there was actually a story which was interesting, but then the story went off the rails. I didn't laugh once. I don't think I was entertained there.
I laughed a couple of times.
It had a little bit of like
arc got me. I like the Shooter McGavin arc. I enjoyed that.
The problem was it wasn't Happy Gilmore. It was like, what is it? Funny people, Adam Sandler, like new Adam Sandler who has the beard, plays basketball, and who's kind of mopey. Like you just put him in the movie, and it didn't have any feel of the original Happy Gilmore. And what they attempted to do with all of the callbacks which weren't funny, was to give it that feel, and it just lacked that.
So
So
many
I thought it would be the
cameos
worst
came
movie
every
of
2
all
seconds.
time. It wasn't, but I don't think I laughed once.
Yeah, I liked it more than Welsh, but I have a.
Will you watch it ever again? No chance.
Here's the thing, Welsh. If it was 10 minutes shorter and it was on TBS or something, I probably would be like, oh, Happy Gilmore 2 is on. I might like watch part of it. I really enjoyed John Daly. I thought he should be an actor. Like John Daly was like really good. So that's.
I think he has a song, by the way. I saw him post something on Instagram, and it was
That
like
guy's
him
living
singing.
life.
So I think he's a singer. But
Yeah, but look, it's. Have they trimmed 10 minutes off, less cameos, fixed a couple things? I didn't like the Ben Stiller replay stuff.
they trimmed like 60 minutes off of it and made it like a 18-minute short.
But
like
if it was a 90-minute tight comedy and they just kind of did it, I think it
and
would've been
put
really
humor into it. That would have been really good if it was funny.
Yeah,
They
that's
did
good
say
stuff.
though, last thing, that apparently, and it clearly shows, Carl Weathers was supposed to be a big portion of the movie, and he passed away, and they had to rewrite a bunch
That
of
was
stuff.
the worst of the cameo things. The sun was clearly
That was
not
the dumbest thing on the
The
planet.
dumbest thing. Like
Yeah.
they should have even done it. By the way, I never realized this until I saw a reel the other day, and then we can call it a day here. Did you ever realize that Carl Weathers' character in Happy Gilmore is always wearing Lacoste shirts, which is the alligator symbol? Everything
I
he
hadn't
wears,
thought
his
about it.
hat, his shirt, his sweater, his pants, they all have the alligator.
But that's the
and I
attention to
never realized-
detail. That's the type of stuff that they did in
But
the
I've seen that
original
movie
movies.
50 times and I never picked up on that. I thought it was genius. I was like,
Everything
that
was
is
lazy
hysterical.
about this movie. Do we need Travis Kelce as the waiter? Do we need? Ask yourself this: what did we need? And here's what you walk away with: nothing. You needed
There you go.
nothing from that.
All
movie.
right. Clearly, my soul is a little bit brighter than Welsh's at this.
I wanted
But
to like it, but it
I
was
don't think you did.
unlikable.
You said you thought it was going to be terrible, and then you left, and it was better than you thought it was going to be. And I thought it was going to be, all right. Let me try to like this, and I was pleasantly surprised. It made me laugh a couple times.
Well, good.
It wasn't great. It wasn't the first one, but again,
Yeah, I didn't say it was the worst movie of all
my
time.
frustration is it could have been better than it was, but it's the but. It could have been better than it was, but they just.
Why
they
don't
have
you
too much
end
in
the
the
show
past.
with one of the really good jokes from the movie that you remember?
That'll do it for us, but the story of the game goes on for the Welsh. I'm Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids.
Answer me!
Mister?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Oh, God. Shooter McGavin. All time.
Shooter.
All time great. Love Shooter.
Yeah, he's old though. They're all so old.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, the movie's 30 years
Dead
old.
Veronica Vaughn. That's the other movie.